Hey guys, I'm Stephanie, the artist behind Art of the Cards, and today we're experimenting on this Maliss Q Red Ransom. I've been enjoying playing around with new ideas while on a break from commissions this winter, including stripping and etching borders on cards like this one. If you like this look, let me know in the comments. What some of you may not know is that in addition to loving art, I'm a fellow duelist. Not necessarily a good one, but here we are. I played casually with friends as a kid and went to Yugioh locals for the first time back in 2013. I had no idea how to prepare or what to expect, and although it was a good experience overall, I wanted to make a video for those who, like me back then, would have liked a little prep before taking that first step from playing casually with friends or on Master Duel to an actual TCG tournament. First, we'll discuss pointers for prepping for locals, but for the latter half of the video, I'll share pointers for prepping for larger scale tournaments, like regionals or YCS, because that's also something I've done. Timestamps will be in the video description if you're looking for a quick overview. So, locals. A third space where you can gather to play the game we all love, get an OTS pack, and connect with other duelists. If you're unsure where you can play locally, the Konami website lists official tournament stores, OTS. If you're looking online, Google Yu-Gi-Oh! OTS Locator. But once you know when and where you need to go to play, next up is prepping yourself. First, you need your deck, and you need to ensure it's tournament legal. There should be 40 to 60 cards, 40 to 60 in your main deck, and up to 15 each in the side and extra. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you understand the main deck and extra deck pretty well, so I'm not going to go into the weeds with them. But if you're new to tournaments, or you're coming from Master Duel format, which is a best of one game, you may not be familiar with the side deck or its purpose. An official TCG duel consists of a best of three format, with the second and third games allowing players to side. To side, you need to have a side deck, which is up to 15 cards that you can swap out with cards in your main deck, and technically your extra deck as well, to help you with each matchup. If you're just learning how to play, don't stress having a side. But if you're comfortable with it, it can give you a competitive edge in different matchups. After your duel, you'll need to unside, meaning the cards you put in are removed and the original cards from your main and extra deck are returned. You can have both main and extra deck cards in your side deck, but the number of cards in your main deck and extra deck cannot change throughout the tournament. Next, check your deck against the Forbidden and Limited list. The cards allowed in decks varies between Master Duel, the TCG, and the OCG. Make sure your deck doesn't include any cards that are forbidden from tournament play. Google Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist to pull up the current list and use the advanced format column to prepare your deck. Cards marked forbidden are not allowed at all. Cards marked limited allow one copy to be used, and cards marked semi-limited allow for 2 copies. If the card is not on the list at all, you can have up to 3 copies between your main and side deck. The ban list is normally updated a few times a year, so if you have gaps between when you go to locals, you'll want to check that cards in your deck are still legal to play. Next, you'll want to make sure cards can't be distinguished from other cards in your deck when face down. Sleeves can help with this. If you can tell where a specific card in your deck is, or if there's a dent or a speck on the back of the card, or the sleeve that sets it apart from other cards, it's considered marked and is not legal for play. Similarly, proxy cards, or official cards that have been altered from their original appearance, like the ones you see on my channel, are not legal for Konami tournaments, so you'll want to make sure those are removed before entering. Once your deck is ready to go, you'll want to gather your accessories. These include a playmat, which can help you keep track of where zones are on the dueling field, but can also protect your cards from possibly dirty tables. Dice, for determining who goes first in a match. Extra sleeves, in case something goes awry with the sleeves your cards are in, or in case you pull a good card from your OTS pack that you want to keep safe. A pencil, paper, and calculator for tracking life points. At locals, you might have opponents using a calculator, some might use their phone, some might just remember where their life points are at in their head, but at bigger events, you are required to track life points on paper, so I'd recommend getting into the habit of this at locals. Lastly, and this is optional but encouraged, I'd suggest prepping a trade binder, especially if there's certain cards that you're wanting or needing, but don't want to wait on shipping for, or don't want to spend the money on. It feels really great getting to turn cards you don't need into cards you do. Other things to consider. Shower, please. Please shower. Please wear deodorant. Throw extra in your bag, and wear clean clothes. Might sound silly to say that out loud, but but sadly it's something folks need to be reminded of from time to time. The Yu-Gi-Oh community does have a little bit of a reputation in this regard. Also, it is against official policy, technically, to have bad BO at events. Carry your stuff in a way that is easy to access everything and move from table to table between rounds, but not easy to lose anything. Also, doesn't hurt to take some snacks, especially ones that won't get your fingers sticky or dirty. You don't want Cheeto fingers when handling your cards or going through another person's. And remember, it's good to view every tournament as an opportunity to learn and improve, especially if it's your first time going to locals, first time with a new deck, first time returning after a long time, with a bunch of new decks running around that you're unfamiliar with. Don't overly focus on winning. Focus on learning and improving so that each duel was better than your last. If you're prepping for bigger events, quote unquote, everything shared about locals still applies, but you'll also want to make sure you read the official tournament policy. Stuff that flies at locals may not be acceptable at a regional or a YCS. Google to easily find the official tournament policy online. For example, while your locals may be fine with you selling cards to other people in the shop, unless you are an official vendor at a larger event, it can actually get you kicked out if you're caught selling cards. Review time rules, how judge calls work, and dueling etiquette guidelines to ensure you're not caught off guard or potentially sharked by your opponent on a technicality. Look online at the website for information specific to the event you're attending. Make sure you know when registration closes so you are on time and your deck list is submitted before the cutoff. If possible, pre-register for the event in case more people turn up than they have space for. The last regional I went to, some of our friends locally, we all drove 3 hours to go to this regional. We had pre-registered, our friends had not, and sadly they missed the cutoff and they were unable to play. So, learn from their mistakes. The official website has store information for OTS's hosting events, so if you're unsure if pre-registration is an option, you can call them and ask, which is what we did. Make sure your deck list is filled out correctly and matches your deck accurately. Make sure your accessories are tournament legal. If unsure, ask the head judge before the event starts. Take snacks and water in a secure bottle. As a courtesy to everyone around you, please do not put open drinks on tournament tables. It's an easy way to avoid a disaster. All-day tournaments like regionals or YCSs mean you need to make sure your energy levels are up, so snacks are good. Be mindful of your hygiene, not only because wins from your opponent fainting from your BO are not satisfying, but also because you can technically be penalized per the official rules for bad hygiene. If you're competing to win, research the meta, be aware of trends and how other decks in the format work, and where to interrupt them, and be aware of your own deck's weaknesses so that you can side appropriately. Remember that the other players there are people too, not just opponents. Common courtesy, respect, and kindness goes a long way. Keep an eye on your stuff. Although we want to believe those around us have the best intentions, people steal. And at larger events, it's easier for culprits to vanish in the crowd. So guard yourself, guard your stuff, don't let your stuff get stolen. Again, remember every tournament is an opportunity to learn and improve. That wraps up my advice for preparing for a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. If you have other suggestions or things you have found helpful, please share your insights in the comments to help others. If you found some useful tips here, or if you like how this Maliss Q Red Ransom turned out, please give the video a like, and if you want more content like this, consider subscribing. I appreciate you making it to the end of the video, and as always, thank you for supporting my art. Happy dueling, guys.